yet, I'm Gracie, and welcome to Gracie's on West Main. We're happy to have you part of the team. If you are new here, these videos are going to give you a rundown of the systems here at Gracie's, how to be a great team member. If you've been with us for a while, these are going to be a really great refresher course for you. Now, here at Gracie's, one of our biggest strengths is the team of people that we have here. So being a great team member, being an effective communicator, and learning your job well are all vital. So if you're here watching this, that means that I or your supervisor saw something in you that we knew would make you a great fit for this team. Being a part of this team means being a good communicator. So it's gonna be important for you to let your teammates know if you're struggling, or if you have extra time and can lend a hand, or if there's anything pertinent that you need to tell other shifts. In this first video, we're gonna tackle the very basic things that you need to know to be a good team member and communicate effectively with your teammates. We're here in our front server room. This is where we keep our opening and closing checklists and all of our side work lists. These are super important. They're the basic bare minimum that needs done on a shift for it to run smoothly. The opening checklist is started by the opening server, but ultimately is completed by the whole morning shift. And that's gonna set the morning and breakfast lunch crew up for success. The closing checklist is done by all the servers that are closing the restaurant at the end of the day. And what that is gonna do is help you know what needs to be cleaned, how it needs to be cleaned, and it's gonna set your next shift up for success the next day. Most importantly is probably your side work list. Side work is so important because it's not something that you do for yourself, it's something you do for the server that comes after you. And we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Our opening checklist includes things like brewing coffee, turning on the open signs, turning on the music, things that are gonna set you up for the day. It's also gonna include things that you can do later in your shift, like portioning cinnamon butters and jams. Our closing checklist is going to be everything you need to know to really thoroughly clean the restaurant and your server rooms at the end of a shift. Side work is going to be probably the most crucial list out of all your checklists. Like I said earlier, this is something that you don't do for yourself, you do it for your fellow servers. So things like cleaning your tables, sanitizing them, sweeping under them, and so on are all things that are going to set the next server up for success so they can come in at their shift, seat guests, and serve them quickly. If you were to come in and everything were a mess, you'd be really upset with the shift before you. So these kinds of things are just what we call being a good neighbor. Another way to be a good team member is through effective communication, both verbal and nonverbal. So let's start with nonverbal. What does that look like for a server? Well, as a server, it's really easy to think of this as a solo gig. You come in, you handle your section well, you make your tip money, and you leave. But here at Gracie's, we really like to think of this as a team environment. And so if you have a minute while you're filling up your waters and coffees in your section, hit the section next to you and fill up their coffees and waters. These are things, ways you can show your teammates that you're a part of just that, a team. Now, equally important is verbal communication. So if you are struggling, you're in the weeds, as they like to say, and you need a few more minutes, it is okay to ask for help. By all means, ask whoever is working sections near you for help filling waters, getting drink orders, checking on tables. It's also going to be really important if you're struggling to communicate to the host that you just need a few minutes to catch up before you get sat again. Now, on the flip side, if you are looking for something to do and you have extra time, make sure you're checking in on your fellow servers. Does anybody need a hand with anything? That is going to be a huge part of being a part of this team. You're also going to need to be able to communicate effectively with the kitchen, communicating any sort of dietary restrictions that your guests have or anything you may need, something that might be missing from one of your tables. The last part of communication here at Gracie's is communicating between shifts. We have a really great app on your cell phone called Homebase. And on this app, you can see who's scheduled for the shift after yours and send them a message through the app, letting them know what you accomplished on that shift and what still needs to be done. This kind of communication is just going to help everything run more smoothly here. So again, welcome to the team. Hopefully through this video series, you find all the tools you need to be successful here. We're really happy to have you. Thanks, guys.